Quote number one, good teachers are thieves. I remember hearing this when I first started teaching, and I was like, what exactly does this mean? And someone explained it to me that, don't go recreating that wheel, the wheel of teaching, of lesson planning, all that stuff. Just look out there, see what you can find, and take it, steal it, I guess the word steal it, but make it your own. And I did not really appreciate this till I really started diving into lesson planning. And I gotta tell you right now, in all honesty, probably more than half the stuff I do or use in my class has come from somewhere else. And so don't be ashamed of that. Do that. It's gonna save you so much time and headache. Plus, if it's been used by multiple people, there's a good chance it works. So what the saying goes, good teachers are thieves, I would definitely hang on to that one. Number two, your ordinary is somebody else's extraordinary. Now, I heard this, I follow another gentleman, I listen to his YouTube videos and podcasts and everything, and he said this, and I remember I actually sent this guy an email, and because I said, I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel, and but I'm not too sure if I have something worth saying, and he replied back, he said, your ordinary is somebody else's extraordinary. I thought, that is it. That is the motivation, inspiration I needed to continue doing what I'm doing, plus to create this YouTube channel and everything else. Now, in all honesty, he actually got it from somewhere else as well. So he stole from somewhere else, and now I'm stealing it. But once again, good teachers are thieves. So just remember that. Your ordinary is somebody else's extraordinary. So whatever you think you take granted for, and you're like, not that big of a deal, to someone else, it can make all of the difference. Number three is we are stronger together. Now, I actually heard this from our union representative here on our campus. Actually, she was a union representative for our entire district. But she would say this all together. Every time she sent out an email to the teachers, and every time we would talk, she would kind of leave it with, hey, we are stronger together. And so this applies for sure for the union. I'm a strong believer in that. There is such a huge impact you can make as a collective group. And so keeping that in mind, because a lot of times, we all kind of got a different plans and different things we want, but the ultimate comes down to that. If we can stay united as a teachers, as a group of people, it's going to benefit not only us in the long run, but as well as our students. So we are stronger together. Number four, be the change you want to see in the world. I love this quote. Of all my quotes ever in history, this is my favorite one. This comes from Gandhi. And there's so many times that we want to make a difference. So many times we complain about the way things are, but then we really take a look, we see that we actually might be part of the problem, not the solution. And so if you want the world to be different, if you want the world to be a better place, it starts with us. It starts with you, it starts with me. And so we got to do our part to make the little sphere of influence that we have a better thing. And then from there, it can radiate to the world. So my favorite quote of all time is this one. Once again, be the change you want to see in the world. Number five is fly the plane as you are building it. I remember one of my principals, she came in and after the first year or two getting acclimated, she really put some aggressive goals together for our school. And she really wanted to see some changes. And so we have these meetings, and she always would remind us that we don't have all the answers at once. And we may not know exactly the right thing to do, but we can't just stay stagnant. We got to move forward. And so she would say, hey, let's build the plane as we're flying. Let's get stuff going. And if there's some mistakes, and we'll fix it here and there, but we got to fly the plane. We got to make progress. We got to move forward. And so the saying on this one is, once again, is fly the plane as you are building it. Number six, the enemy of extraordinary is average. Now, when I first heard this, at first I didn't quite, I don't like that quote. But then I really started thinking about it, and that is so true. If I look at my own life, if what's holding me back in my life from doing better things, greater things, extraordinary things, it isn't something really tedious holding me back, it isn't something really extreme holding me back. What's holding me back is that I have a hard time getting out of my own way. I have a hard time just not being average. Just kind of going with the flow. Because if we're content just kind of going with the flow and being average, we're never going to achieve those great things in life. And those great things, once again, it doesn't have to be where you create some fancy invention. The great thing could be you make a difference in one of your students' lives. Or it could be raising your children the proper way. Or it could be helping out somebody else. But if we don't get out of our way, if we just kind of stick with the status quo, we'll never be able to take it to the next level. So for me, this is one of the great quotes. Number seven is, We have 182 days to make a difference in our kids' lives. Now, this is actually what my principal said this year. He said, no, I was thinking about last year. Now we always do the countdown. We got 30 days left, 8 days left, 2 days left of school. And as exciting as it is to be done with the school year, it's kind of demotivating, right? He said, no, I want to change that around. So he said, I'm going to start a new thing. Here's our new thing. So at the beginning of the year, it's not like, hey, we have 182 days left of school year. No, he says, we have 182 days to make a difference in our students' lives. And for me, that helps me put the focus back on the student. Because I know, I'm just like you guys, there's sometimes I just get worn out. Sometimes the days that drag on, and sometimes the months are just hard to get through. But ultimately, we are here for our students. And so every day is an opportunity to do right, and every day is an opportunity to make their lives better. Number 8, it's not about classroom management, it's about classroom leadership. Now, I got this once again from the same guy I listened to before, the podcast and the YouTuber. This is another thing he says, is that it's not about trying to manage a classroom. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all about managing classroom. I really am all about, I mean, that is my bread and butter. That's my thing. That's my jam. And that is one of the great skills I have in the classroom, is managing the classroom. But I understand what he's saying. And when I really think about what I do in the classroom, managed, yeah, for sure, but it's also a leadership role. Because think about it, if you're in the classroom, if your goal is just to make the kids all be quiet, that's a possibility. You could just make the kids be quiet all day long, right? But there's no inspiration in that. There's no internal motivation in that. And so a better way of looking at classroom management, which I like, and I'm sure eventually I'm going to switch over to, at least in my verbiage, is classroom leadership. It's about being a leader in the classroom. You are there to guide the students. You definitely got to make sure the classroom runs properly. But your goal isn't necessarily to put down students. Your goal is to bring them up. And you do that by being a leader. So a leader shows the way, leads by example. A leader creates a path for their students. A manager just makes sure everybody does what they need to do. So there definitely is a difference. So my goal would eventually get to the point where I start changing my verbiage, and along with that, to make sure that my actions meet that as well. Number 9, Carpe diem. This was one of my old principals. She used to say this all the time, and even today, she now works at the district office. She'll send emails, and the bottom says Carpe diem, and it's seize the day. It's seize the day. And it's a reminder that every day there's something we can do every day to make a positive impact. It'd be so easy to let the day just go by and not have any kind of difference in the world. Let the day go by and just kind of wake up and go through the motions. But in all honesty, every day is a gift. And so if we can carpe diem, seize the day, we can make the most out of that day. Number 10, students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. This is probably one of the most famous quotes for teachers of all time. And as cliche as it is true. It is true. Now, I'm not one to do all this foo-foo fun, hey, let's get to know each other, classroom activities, icebreakers. That's not my style. But I understand the importance of relationships with students, because without that, you're going to have a hard time in your class as far as what students will actually do, what they'll learn, and as their behavior as well. Now, don't get me wrong. There definitely is a time and place for everything. But what I found out is I can nurture those relationships throughout the year. And it's just a matter of communication, talking, joking, and everything else. But once again, hopefully I believe my students come away with the feeling that I really do care about their best interest. Thank you for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button or click on one of the other links.